Hi everyone, welcome back to a new episode of Wes Chit Chat. There's the five of us today and we're going to be talking about career anxiety. And when I say the five of us, I mean it's Gloria, Simran, Emma, Maddie and me, Emily. Just a quick note before we start the conversation. We are actually shouting out local businesses in Coventry on our Instagram page to help support them through the lockdown and the pandemic. So if you're a local business owner or you know a local business owner, please get in contact with us on our social media at Wes Chit Chat and let us know if you would like a shout out. So yeah, this episode is about career anxiety. So I'll just pose the question to the rest of the group. Do you think there are more or less opportunities available since the pandemic?
Who wants to go first? Emma?
Can do, yeah. Yeah, this pandemic obviously destroyed everything in the workplace. I mean, not to be negative, but it's just different. And I think maybe the job in engineering didn't change that much, but I think for us it's harder because we don't have experience. For example, now they're doing a lot of placements online, but for us that we don't have any experience, I don't think it's actually useful. Because if you already have experience, you do your job from home, it's not going to change a lot. Yes, there are a lot of things that change, but for us as students, we don't know what the work environment is like. We don't know what we're going to do in our career. So doing online, I think, is very hard. So probably the thing that mostly changes is probably this shift to online work, working from home, and it's very bad for us students. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I feel like I agree with you there. There's definitely less opportunities. I feel like, though, we're lucky that we study a degree that we can do a lot of things with. So we can kind of go into a lot of different fields, which is good when applying for jobs and stuff, especially because at this current time it's very difficult to get a graduate role in general. So obviously there's less opportunities, and I don't know, you probably will end up in a role that is not your dream job, which is fine though, I think at this point in time you've just got to be grateful that you have a job.
Yeah, that is true.
Yeah.
I think everyone's going through it, so the fact that there are less jobs, or what seems like less jobs, I don't know if people are just delaying it like to a later date or something, but the fact that there are less jobs, it's like we're all sort of in the same boat, and I think like employers and stuff will be more understanding when they sort of see that gap on your CV, because they'll understand that it's a pandemic, like they've gone through it like themselves. So, yeah, there are less jobs, but I think it's understandable, like the situation.
Yeah, it's definitely nice knowing that everyone is in the same situation. Like everyone is feeling the same way about it. So it's kind of, it comforts you a bit that everyone is feeling the same way.
It comforts you, but then again, they're all your competition, so it kind of does the opposite in a way, knowing that there's way more people going for the same thing, and you've all done the same things.
You have to consider maybe a lot of people take different paths, like a lot of people are doing masters because they know that there's no job availability. So yes, maybe there are more people applying, but there are other people that are taking different paths because they know there are less jobs. And I think now there are a lot of more opportunities online. Like I heard a lot of people, for example, doing courses to self-develop, courses, for example, on Excel, on engineering.
Yeah.
There are a lot of events online where you can learn, a lot of internships online, which probably they get more people because most of the times are free. The company doesn't need to pay the students, so they could get more people. They don't have the cost of moving them, giving them an office and everything. So even if maybe you don't get a job, you could still fill that gap in your CV. You could still show like you are determined of getting something, of learning more. I think this is something that could comfort us.
Yeah, show initiative, basically.
Yeah, I think Simran made a really good point as well, just sort of saying that we're lucky studying mechanical engineering, that we are studying a profession that is still quite high in demand throughout the pandemic. I feel like the importance of engineers hasn't lessened because of the pandemic, even if perhaps there are less roles available.
That is true. There are some industries that are literally dead. I feel sorry for them.
Yeah, definitely. But for you guys, how do you feel about working from home or like things actually being online? Personally, how do you guys feel about that?
I mean, it's not ideal, is it?
Maybe just a bit of context. Gloria, Emma, and Simran, they're all in their final year of their undergraduate, so they're applying for graduate roles. Whereas Maddie and I, we're in our second year, so looking for paid placements.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know friends that they've got jobs now and they're working online at home and stuff. And I asked one of my friends, like, how is it? Like, do you enjoy it? Do you not enjoy it? Because you're at home and you're not really at uni. You can't just go then to see your friends. Like, you'll just go downstairs and just be at home. She was like, yeah. I think you get used to it. It's obviously not the greatest situation to be in, but you get used to it, and it doesn't seem as bad as I thought it would be from what she was saying anyway. But I mean, it probably depends on the company, depends on the people, your team. Like, it depends on a lot of things.
Yeah. I feel like I'm most nervous about like joining a team that's not very, like, they don't communicate a lot, or like they're not very chatty over messages, because you could be given a task and sort of like just have to do it on your own, and it just will feel like you're doing a project at home. Like, literally, like your friend said, you go downstairs and then it'll just be your family, and it's not going to feel very much like my graduate job. Like, I've just finished 3 years at uni and I've literally been working towards it, and then I've landed myself this. Like, that's not going to feel like a big hype. But then I suppose it's also nice because you're kind of, there's less pressure, I think, because you're still like making money. You're still kind of like, obviously the learning will be different, but you're still learning, and then it's like hopefully a good segue into just reality, where you've got to like get up at 7 a.m, like go to work, do the whole full 9 to 5 or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, I'm not looking forward to that bit, but hopefully like you said, it depends on your team. So if your team's nice, so yeah, just fingers crossed for a good team, guys.
Otherwise, yeah.
I think for me, it's not the worst part's not the working at home. Like, I think I would get used to being online, like I have been, but it would be when I have to go in. So when we come back from, not working at home, I'm not going to know how to do anything. That's how I feel like it will be for me, going from online to actually going in. I don't know, I feel like it's very different.
See, I think this is a thing. So for people that are, let's say, 15, 20 years into their career, it's probably nice for them to be able to work at home because they've had to commute, they've had to do this, and now they get to work at home. But then for graduates, it's a bit like you don't really get that experience, that working life experience.
You're not learning about it. It doesn't feel like you're learning as much on the job, if that makes sense, because everything's online.
Yeah, like, you don't get as much out of it.
Yeah, I feel like I've missed out on a lot of the experience just because it's been online. And so, I don't know, I don't feel like I've learned as much as I would have liked to, in a way. It's just a very different atmosphere.
That's really sad. That's really sad. It's going to break my heart.
It's true, though. It's like true. University. So we try to learn as much as possible going fully online or with some hybrid approach, whatever it's called. But obviously it's not the same as reality. But then what is the new reality? Like, we are fully online. So, I mean, I understand what you say, Maddie. It would be difficult when you go to like a normal environment. You have to go in. But at least you can say you tried the experience working from home. I don't know, because when I went from my placement to work from home, I didn't like it, but it was a different experience. And then maybe you can decide if when you're later in your career, you can decide to work from home because you already tried it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, it gives you that flexibility as well, doesn't it? There'll probably be a lot of flexibility when people are able to work back in the office or wherever they're working. But yeah.
There's a lot to be said for working in your pyjamas.
Exactly. That's the
secret. We gotta look for the positives.
PJ for your trousers and nice t-shirt on top, and you look professional. Or, oops, sorry, my camera's not working.
See, that's me every time. You won't have these excuses if you actually have to go in. Oh.
I was thinking that, Maddie, with interviews, because
exactly.
I did some during this year online, and it's so much easier. There is so much less pressure and everything. And I was thinking, what's gonna happen? Like, or a meeting or a presentation. Now it's fully online. It's so much easier. You're just in your comfort zone at home, and then you go. Like, imagine we have to do our dissertation in presentation real person. I would die. I'm not used to anymore.
That's exactly what I was talking about when I was. It's what I was thinking about when I was saying working from home versus actually seeing other people and going in. Because for me, presentations are absolutely terrifying, but it feels very different when you're online. So I'm scared that if I get too used to working at home, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's just, I already feel scared about the fact that in future I will have to go in and do presentations, because I've managed to not do any of my first year presentations because of COVID or other situations. So it's really weird for me.
I think it's more awkward doing presentations online. I'd rather do them in person.
Oh no, I prefer online.
Do you think there's going to be like a skill deficit, or maybe not like a deficit, but like a shift? Like everyone's going to have loads of online techie skills, but then public speaking and like verbal communication and like with people is going to be really awkward. Like, do we shake hands? Do we not? Like, everyone's going to be struggling.
But that is so important. Like those things, that is really important. People don't understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, they are really important. And I remember even when we started as a committee and we were going through our personal goals, for me, I remember Gloria saying that you would make me do kind of the presentation things to make me face my fear, if you will, to try and improve it as a skill. But obviously it's been online, so I haven't felt any like nerves, or I haven't really felt scared about presenting anything. So yeah, maybe, who knows.
I mean, different strengths are prioritised now because sort of the way we live has changed so much that perhaps public speaking now isn't as valuable a skill as being able to use Zoom is or Skype is.
Yeah, literally.
That's true. But in terms of what we've been kind of applying for, are there certain sectors that you guys are kind of more inclined towards, or that you really want to go to?
Or are you just not picky and you're willing to have anything at this point?
Just anything.
Because that's me.
I'm not picky, and I feel like I don't know if I started applying a bit too late. I think just because I didn't apply I started more applying during the holiday when I didn't have work to do, but I'm not picky. And I was speaking to my mum and dad about this. I was like, what if I end up in a role that I don't even like? Like, I'm not going to like it, and then I'm just going to be depressed for 2 years doing a role. They're like, Sim, relax. That's not going to be your end job. Like, you need to start somewhere, and then you can build up to wherever you want to go. Like, it's not, you just need to have experience. And I was like, true. That is true. Yeah.
I feel like right now is sort of an intern undergraduate placement kind of thing for us. We can't really afford to be that choosy because some companies are offering less placements or no placements at all. And like Mads was saying, there are a lot of people applying for one job and there's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
So I would take anything at this
so
point.
Much anxiety. I just think about all the other people that have applied.
No, don't think like that.
Run your own race.
Yourselves to others. There's no point. There's honestly no point comparing.
I know there's no point. I can't stop doing it. I don't try to. It just happens because I know that no one else has much of a choice either. I mean, for me personally, I don't actually mind where I go because obviously I don't have any experience in any of these sectors. I could say I want to do one thing, but maybe I will love something else.
Yeah,
and that's why I've really wanted an internship, is to have that experience. And so that you can open other avenues in engineering that I probably don't know, that exist, which is why I really want one. But I've only got rejection so far, so we just keep trying.
Yeah, I think at this age you just should get as much experience from different things as possible to find out what you like. I think that's the way to go, to be honest.
What about you, Gloria?
my placement made me realise like what I didn't want to do. So I feel like whatever you get, whatever you get will be a good experience, because it's an experience you haven't really had before. So you will learn something, like even if it's not what you set out to learn. You'll learn something. So just keep at it, because I didn't get mine till really late. I know the situation's different, but I think a lot of companies as well, they don't really know what they're doing, and they don't know how many people they can have, and so I do think there'll be later like openings in terms of companies will push back their deadlines, and some probably haven't even opened yet. But in terms of a sector, I think I'm actually on the flip side. I think I am a bit picky, but I think it's just from where I did my placement. I sort of it's like a good company, but I just didn't have some bits were good, some bits were bad, but it made me realise that I don't want to spend a lot of my time doing something that I'm not going to enjoy. So even if when I graduate I find a job in like doing something where I'm still making money, still be like able to like plan for the future and stuff, it isn't directly engineering, just as long as I'm doing something or learning something and upskilling, I think I'd be happy. But I don't think I want a job in a sector that's not ideal for me, just because I think you'll put in so much effort like for it, you'll still learn something, but if you're not enjoying it, then I don't know if I can afford to be that picky. That's what I'm saying right now. Maybe ask me again in 4 months' time when it's like
give me anything.
I feel like that's just my mindset, and right now I feel like I'm not really in a rush for anything, because the jobs will come back, the jobs will be there, so go.
That's a good mindset.
What about you, Emma? Because you also did placement, didn't you?
Yeah. I work in oil and gas industry, and I definitely loved it. My daily job wasn't all day staring at a computer, which is something that I was really scared when I got the job as my placement, because I was really scared it was going to be all day, like, for example, CAD engineer or something like that, which it wasn't. And then I decided this is what I want to do. So I want to work in a maintenance environment. I was working as a maintenance engineer. Or, for example, manufacturing plants, heavy industry, everything that is like you actually go on site, you see the problem, it's not just remote. So it doesn't make me think like university, you only do theoretical approach. I want to do something that I solve the problem, and there on site I see it, especially because I saw with my placement, you learn so much more than just behind the computer. I was watching some video about pumps, and you don't learn a lot. Then you go on site, you actually see them, you can see the different components. There is someone that explains it's completely different. And I think especially for when you are young, you have to gather as much experience as possible, and that's one of the best places to do it. Regarding being picky, I agree with Gloria, because I saw that, for example, especially for a graduate job, they usually last 2, 3, 4 years. So if you end up in a bad one and you really spend like 3 years regretting it, I think it's better maybe to wait a little bit longer, but then take the right decision. Because when you go for an engineering job, it's not really a supermarket that you can change. It takes at least 3, 4 months to understand what you're doing. I probably Gloria agrees with me. It's like at the beginning you don't even know what you're doing, you don't even know your role, and then you put so much effort in that I wouldn't imagine myself doing a job I hate. I would literally wake up and being depressed all day. But then at the same time, can we really be picky? So it's very hard, but I think don't be too pressured with the idea of getting a job, because there is always something else you can do. There is always like another job you can get. For example, I was saying another job as non-engineering. You can always go and do, for example, fix bikes or develop other skills and do courses on the side that you can put on your CV, and they can make the difference. So yes, job is very important, but at the end of the day, the job is for us to make money, and we have to enjoy it. So it needs to be, I think it needs to be thought about it. Don't just take a rash decision.
You could do.
I think I'd only say that, like as a grad job. I only knew that because I did a placement. But I think if I was in a placement situation, I would take anything just to have that experience, and then you could decide. Because it's easier to say that like having done it, but
that is true. Placement is short.
As long as a graduate job anyway, so you're not like committing yourself as much as you would be.
No. and you still you still learn something, you still understand about industry, even if it's going to be online. I think it still makes a difference, especially when you are in second year. It changes you completely.
Just want the experience.
But then also, don't be sad if you don't get one because of the current situation. Like, don't think that you're not good enough or whatever. Just, it's very difficult to get one in general, and to top it off because of everything that's happening. Like, don't be like so down. Like, oh, then it's gonna be so bad. Don't think like that if you don't get one.
That is true.
So, is there anything, are there any positive aspects that you're feeling right now about joining the workplace or applying for jobs? Is there a ray of hope anywhere for any of us?
I think I'm excited to. I feel like it's a new chapter of my life, like finishing uni, and then you are in control of what you're doing with your life. It's quite exciting. Whatever you end up doing, like even like you guys were saying, if you don't get a graduate role straight away, you can still do other things. Like you can have a part-time job and work on, like Emma was saying, work on other skills until you know what graduate job you want. Like you can still do that. There's no set plan for everyone, and every single, like me, Emma and Gloria will all go in different directions, we'll all have different plans, but we'll all get there eventually. I think it's just exciting.
Yeah, I agree with them. It's just like open to do anything, and you sort of finish doing everything that society expects you to do. Like you've done your GCSEs, you've gone to college, your sixth form, you've gone to uni. Now it's like, okay, I'm done pleasing you. I can actually find something that I enjoy and that I'm excited to do. And literally what Sim said, you can just make it what you want and you will get there eventually. So I feel like that is definitely a positive despite the situation.
Yeah, the compulsory things are finally done. It's true. Like there's just, you can do anything you want. That's probably the most exciting thing.
Anything.
Anything.
You have a degree, you have everything. You can literally, like, you have enough knowledge, let's say.
It's a big achievement as well, because you're all going to be graduating with a bachelor's in mechanical engineering. So that in itself is something to be really proud of. Even if perhaps you don't manage to get like the job you were really hoping for, you've still got a massive achievement.
Yeah, people go through a lot of different routes, and it's exciting to see what other people do, I think. But I think one thing that I've started to realise that I need to stop doing this, but like stop comparing yourself to what other people are doing at the same stage in their lives, because everyone is going to be doing something different.
Maz, are you listening?
Yeah,
and everyone has his own times.
Exactly, yeah.
And like there are a lot of people, for example, they find the job they love as soon as, and other people maybe they wait a year and then they're super happy as well. Like everyone has own stages and opportunities and possibilities.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind.
Keep the hope
Maddie,
up.
we're talking to you. We're talking to you there.
Run your own race.
Exactly.
Yeah. Everyone always says that and I completely disregard it. But sure, I'll run my own race.
It's hard. It's obviously hard because as humans, we always compare for a lot of things. No, like not even jobs, just for everything. People compare things, and it's very hard not to. But I think if you realise that you're comparing too much, then I mean that's one. At least you realise.
Yeah.
You've got through the first step.
Yeah.
That is something. Yeah. But yeah, I think this is probably a good stage to
end on a positive.
Yeah. End on a more positive note.
Everything will be fine in the end.
Exactly. So thank you for listening to this episode, guys, and we'll see you next week with another episode. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.